You're watching Conference USA men's basketball on ESPN+. From the Pan American Center, it is the home finale and also senior day. New Mexico State looks to bounce back from a close loss on Thursday against Middle Tennessee, while Western Kentucky seeks a 2-0 road swing in a game that has massive seeding implications for down the road in the Conference USA tournament. Adam Young with Russ Bradford, the former Aggie assistant coach. Welcome to March. Russ, this is not a Conference USA tournament game yet, but this one is awfully big here today, potentially for down the road for seeding in Huntsville.
That's right. It's crucial. It's a big swing. If the Aggies win, they could be up here at number 4. They could be as low as number 8. And this is a Western Kentucky team that just won in El Paso. Not an easy place to win.
Yeah, nice win. 2 in a row now for the Hilltoppers as they look for a late season push like they had a year ago. Aggies have won 3 of 4 as we take a look at our keys. Russ, they're presented by the Southwest Chevy dealers.
Well, Adam, first of all, the Aggies are going to have to do a great job of getting back on defense. This team really likes to run the Western Kentucky team. They're a high-paced, high-scoring team. The Aggies are going to have to keep scoring inside, which they've done a great job in the last few weeks. They've been going inside more and more. They shot fewer three-pointers last game than any time I can remember, and they've got to win the battle of the boards. Now, that's easier said than done against Western Kentucky, who's pretty big and pretty athletic.
Rebounding was the key a week ago for the Aggies in their 2 road wins against Jack State and Kennesaw State. They struggled on the glass, on the defensive glass especially, down the stretch Thursday in that tight loss against Middle Tennessee. Only 10 players in uniform for WKU, a very thin bench. Here's their starting 5. They're paced by Don McHenry, 5th in Conference USA in scoring. And then Tyrone Marshall having a great career for WKU. Good scorer, good rebounder. He scored 24 in the first matchup, which was a 32-point win in Bowling Green against the Aggies for WKU back on February 1st, 1 month ago. Starters changing again today for Aggie head coach Jason Hooten. Peter Filipovich, after coming off the bench in the previous 3, back in the starting 5. The Shimanga brothers, and then Jackson and Cook. And the Aggies would love a shooting performance like Thursday from Cook. Russ, he got back on track in a good way. 24 for him 2 nights ago.
He was terrific, and as we keep talking about it, he's much more than a shooter now. He came in with the reputation from Northeastern Oklahoma State as a pure shooter, and that was true. But he's much more than a shooter these days.
2 teams separated by only 1 game in the Conference USA standings. The Aggies could drop from the 4 seed line all the way down to the 8 seed line with a loss here today. As they try to win on senior day, they're going to honor their 9 seniors when this one is over with. Regular season road finale for the Hilltoppers out of Bowling Green, Kentucky. They're the defending Conference USA tournament champs. This is right around the time a year ago when they really got hot down the stretch in early March. Blaze Cada tipping it up with Emmanuel Shimanga, and the Aggies have the first possession in the home whites here today. The Aggies last in Conference USA in scoring, only averaging 70 points per game. Down low, Filipovich scores.
Boy, great execution, nice baseline screen. And Filipovich, who usually head fakes a few times, went right up with it. He knew how open he was.
They didn't play a lot because of foul trouble in half 1 on Thursday. Wound up scoring 16 points in 20 minutes in that tight loss against Middle Tennessee. A game in which the Aggies led for nearly 30 minutes. They led by 7 with 7 minutes left and could not finish. Cameron Weston's shot-making ability down the stretch was a big reason why Middle Tennessee got the win. Jalen Jackson rims in a 3, only his 3rd made 3 all year. He had a shoot it, the shot clock was down to 1. Jackson doesn't score much. He's already at his season average, 1 possession in. He only averages 3 points a game. Here's Zaudy Jackson with it, defended by Marshall on the switch. Mismatch with McHenry guarding Nate Shimanga. So Nate's going to take advantage. Leans in and he banks it in.
Good patience by Nate Shimanga. A little bit like Filipovich, where he waited for the play to open up a little bit.
5th straight start for Nate Shimanga. This occurred a couple weeks ago when Jason Hooten said, you know what, I'm going to start the Shimanga brothers together. And it's been working. Don McHenry with it. 27 in the first matchup for WKU. Braxton Bayless picks up his dribble. Stuffs it back out for Jackson. Shot clock winding again. Jackson working on Filipovich. Misses. Good box out by Emmanuel Shimanga.
Yeah, Manuel couldn't get the ball, but he allowed his brother to get it.
Good start for the Aggies on offense. Filipovic with it. Back on the perimeter for Cook. 10 of 21 from the field for Cook 2 nights ago. He lost the handle, slapped away by McHenry. Cook defending. McHenry lays it in. McHenry averaging 17.5 points per game. Russ, he can really fill it up. The Aggies shut him down in this building for the most part a year ago.
Yeah, and he's left-handed. It makes him a little bit dangerous because you're not used to guarding a guy who goes left all the time.
Started his collegiate career at Division II Hawaii Hilo. Filipovic guarded by the much smaller Jalen Jackson. Filipovic from the foul line steps back, gets the friendly bounce. He made that shot a bunch 2 nights ago.
Yeah, and that's 3 baskets inside the paint for the Aggies to start the game. A great sign if they can just get a stop consistently on the defensive end.
We talked about this Thursday. He lost about 15 pounds when he was ill the last couple of weeks. He looks like he's moving better. And he grabs the rebound. He averages 8 rebounds a game, second best in CUSA. Sprint inside by Filipovic, and he tries to throw it off the body of Jackson. Emmanuel Shimanga gets to the ball. Nate Shimanga on the catch, and out of bounds was Jalen Jackson. Good hustle by the 7-footer, Emmanuel Shimanga, who keeps getting better and better, Russ.
Yes, he's doing a lot of the little things. He's more versatile than he was at the beginning of the year. Bit of an unforced turnover with Christian Cook there, a rare turnover for him.
Aggies 3 of 3 from the field so far. Inbounder is Zodie Jackson, gets it in for Cook, bounces to Emmanuel Shimanga. His floater is good.
You know, they're looking for him more, and Emmanuel Shimanga has given up on the head fake, the unnecessary head fake. He's much more effective when he just goes up with it.
Scored 8 points on Thursday in that loss against Middle Tennessee. Bayless, low block. Fires it out. Nice pass to Marshall, who steps into a 3, misses it wide right. What a clearance by Emmanuel Shimanga, who rips it in.
You know, and he keeps improving as well.
Kick out. Jackson passes up the 3. Double clutches in midair, and he knocks down the mid-range jumper.
Well, for the first time that I can remember in the last few weeks, the Aggies are really clicking offensively to start the game. Their defense is always terrific, of course, but they're playing with much more confidence here offensively.
Yeah, the starts at home especially have not been very good on offense. Right now the Aggies ahead by a handful. 5 of 5 from the field. WKU 2 of 5 from the field so far. Christian Lander in the game now. He splashes in the 3. His 42nd made 3. He played well in the first matchup. He can really fill it up.
Yeah, he's the Indiana transfer, left-handed, goes left most of the time, which Jason Hooten said about 30 times yesterday in practice.
Jackson a kick out. Filipovic out of the corner. He's starting to make his 3s. He is now 5 of 10 from 3 in his previous 6 games.
Wow, and maybe he's crossed a bridge in terms of, we've wondered, he's got a good-looking shot, and he doesn't shoot a lot of them. He's pretty judicious about it, but if he can get on track from 3, that would really help.
McHenry spins it off. Filipovic grabs another rebound, his 2nd clearance. The Aggies are 6 of 6 from the field, make it 7 of 7, a 3 for Zodie.
Wow, and that's the Aggies' first attempted 3 there. They're definitely looking inside sooner and more often than they have been in the past.
Russ, we've said it so often. Watch out for the Aggies if they get hot offensively. They're going to defend and rebound. If they can make shots, they're hard to beat. McHenry fouled, going to the rim, and that will take us to a media timeout. Aggies will bring in 4 subs during the media timeout. Osborne, Bostic, Harris, and Carpenter set to check in. 7 shots, 7 made shots for New Mexico State. They haven't missed. Zodie Jackson a handful. 7 for Filipovic. The Aggies doubling up the Hilltoppers. New Mexico State below 40% from the field in 2 straight games coming in. Right now they are 7 of 7 from the field. They are a perfect 2 of 2 from 3. Off to a good start. Made 3s for Jackson and Filipovic, and the Aggies lead by 8. These are up-to-date Conference USA standings. It is still really tight. Liberty, Jack State, Middle Tennessee, and then it gets really tight with New Mexico State, Kennesaw State, La Tech, UTEP, WKU all bunched up. FIU Russ starting to play well. Sam Houston's been surging the last couple of weeks. I can't wait for Huntsville in less than 2 weeks because I have no idea what's going to happen. None of these coaches know what's going to happen less than 2 weeks from now.
I think that's right. It's completely up for grabs. It seems like Florida International should be down and out of it, but they nearly beat Jacksonville State today. 2
overtimes. Jacksonville State able to survive. They're in overtime right now in the Haskins Center, by the way, between UTEP and Middle Tennessee. UTEP really needs that one. Nice bat away by Nate Chimanga. He stays in. How about that? The only player who is in the starting 5 who stays in is Nate Chimanga. Carpenter, Osborne, Harris, Bostic, first action for those guys today. Leroy Odiahi also came in right before the media timeout for WKU. There's Braxton Bayless, fires in the corner. Tyrone Marshall cans the 3. Don't let the Hilltoppers get hot. They connected on 18 made threes in the first matchup. New Mexico State 5th in the country in three-point defense, despite that game when they allowed 18.
That's right. They might be leading the nation in three-point defense if it wasn't for that game.
It was an impressive second half a month ago in Bowling Green. WKU scored 59 in that game in half 2. First miss comes from Carpenter, but he tracks it down, and it goes out to Bostic at midcourt. Great hustle by Carpenter. One of 9 seniors going through senior day post-game, and we have an issue, it looks like, with the shot clock potentially. Yep. Shot clock to 24 instead of 14. That game in Bowling Green, it was a close game right before halftime. In fact, the Aggies were down only 3 with a minute left in the first half, and they lost that game by 32. They gave up 101. Can't imagine there's been many games in Jason Hooten's coaching tenure where he's allowed triple digits. Bostic to the rim. Picks up his dribble. Bostic needs to throw it up. He does. He missed it. Cleared by Odiahi. Push ahead by McHenry. Bostic really searching for his offense right now. He's only averaging 3.5 points per game in the previous 7. Good catch by Odiahi. Lander, step back, wing 3, too strong, and it bounces over the glass.
Yeah, something isn't quite clicking with Deontay Bostic, who was so good getting to the basket early in the year, and now he'll get into the lane and then seem completely unsure. He's totally confident of getting next to the basket, and then he doesn't seem to know what to do. And I just want him to go up. If he gets a shot blocked, he gets it blocked or throw it to somebody, but he seems to go into the lane and then start making decisions after he's come to a stop. That could have been a 3-second violation, the last one.
Russ, he has 1,100-plus career points. We know he can score down there. He's done that his entire career. Carpenter has it stolen away. Here comes Don McHenry. And a foul called on Harris. McHenry probably should have made that. He'll get 2 free throws.
Yeah, risky foul by Jaden Harris.
So now a little bit of a funk offensively. And this is one of the dangers, right, when you go pretty deep. I mean, that starting 5 unit was really clicking, but you have a bench. You bring in 4 new guys, and now the rhythm not quite there.
Well, and the decision-making, Robert Carpenter takes a couple dribbles this way, a couple dribbles that way, and without a clear purpose again. And I just think it's going to be hugely important for Carpenter and Bostic to start playing with confidence offensively.
1 of 2 for McHenry, one of the best free throw shooters in Conference USA, 84% this year. Filipovic brings the Aggies out of the backcourt. Jaden Harris, a step back 3, too strong. Snatched in by Odiahi. Aggies haven't scored in 2.5 minutes now. McHenry bounces off Carpenter and banks it in. He's a crafty finisher down low. Just under 18 tonight.
Well, and if I had $1 for every time I heard Jason Hooten say that McHenry and Landers are going to go to their left, I'd be a wealthy man after practice yesterday.
A lot of left-handers for WKU. We're going to see Jalen Dorsey off the bench at some point. He's a left-hander as well. Only 10 players in uniform for WKU today. Kick out to Osborne, who doesn't shoot threes. Short corner, Filipovic. Help defense comes. Carpenter launches. Filipovic got a hand on it. And the pinball's in the hands of Leroy Odiahi. Hilltoppers can tie it or take a lead on this trip. Marshall for the lead. They're good. Rebound initially Osborne. Good poke away by Jalen Jackson, but he could not save it in the corner. That was not a good stretch offensively for New Mexico State. Did not miss in the first 5 minutes of this first half and could not make in the previous couple during that second stretch. Under 12 media timeout. Hilltoppers on a 6-0 scoring run, paced by McHenry. They're within 2. Aggie ball when you come back.
Today's New Mexico State men's basketball game is brought to you by New Senda Credit Union, New Mexico State Marketing and Communications, White Sands Federal Credit Union, and by Memorial Medical Center, the official healthcare partner of the Aggies.
Adam Young, Russ Bradford back with you. Old Sun Belt rivals going at it today. These were a couple of Sun Belt schools in the early 2000s, a little over 20 years ago. So they played against each other a bunch. 15th all-time matchup. Western Kentucky has kind of controlled this all-time series. And the Hilltoppers won by 32 on February 1st in Bowling Green. A lot of made threes, 59 second half points for the Hilltoppers. Tyrone Marshall was really good in that game. So was McHenry and Lander. Now there's some pieces that played in that game for the Hilltoppers not with them today, including Enoch Kalambe, who's missing his 3rd straight game. Hilltoppers without 3 of their top 6 scorers. They found a way here in late February, early March. They've won 2 in a row. 7-point road win at UTEP Thursday. They led that game, though, by 25 in the first half at one juncture. It could have been a blowout, but UTEP made a nice second half comeback to make it a 2-possession game a couple of times. Filipovic with 4 to shoot. Filipovic has to shoot it. He does, and got rim, but Jack Edelin grabs the rebound. Edelin can score off the bench for WKU. Sophomore out of Louisville. There's Christian Lander, as Russ mentioned, the former Indiana Hoosier. Spent 2 years at IU. Working on Cook to the rim. Bank shot too strong. High snatch by Carpenter. The Aggies haven't made a field goal in about 5 minutes when Zaudy Jackson made that 3-pointer. Carpenter the bounce. Good cut by Filipovic, who stays patient down low.
Yeah, there's 2 head fakes and gets 3 guys off the ground and makes the reverse layup. He's just so smart under the basket, Peter Filipovic.
This pass as well by Carpenter, post to post. 3-pointer for Edelin. He's wide open, way off. Aggie lead as high as 8 in this first half. Jackson is held on his way to the rim.
Can we talk about Odiahi?
Absolutely, Russ.
Well, he's from Tralee, Ireland, where I coached for a couple of years, where I had Brandon Mason, MVP of the league. Odiahi going out of the game now, but and here's Robert Carpenter with a nice pass to. Look at that, great head fakes. Anyway, Odiahi's from Ireland.
You had a chance to talk to him before the game.
Yes, he was surprised to meet someone that knew all of his teammates in every pub in town.
And you told me earlier it's pronounced Tralee, right? Not Tralee?
Tralee, as in the
Tralee.
Rose of Tralee. It's in the famous beauty contest.
Filipovic might have injured his arm or his shoulder on that spin move. He was fouled. I think it's going to lead to free throws. He's in some pain right now.
And there's Odiahi, the Irish native.
Undercut a little bit by Jackson, I think, right here. Looks like Filipovic is okay. Still trying to stretch out his right arm. Says I'm fine. 67% free throw shooter. All of a sudden now he's a dangerous three-point shooter as well. That's been the problem in his game this year, shooting the 3 ball. He's only 21%, but he's 5 of 10 in his previous 6 games, including this game from 3. And he gets 1 out of 2 from the free throw line. 5-point Aggie lead. Approaching the 10-minute mark here in half 1. Huge game for conference tournament seeding with only 2 left to play after today. Aggies need to find a way to protect the home floor. Blaze Cada up and under move with Emmanuel Shimanga, and a late foul was called on Emmanuel.
Well, Shimanga had him, but then he jumped at the head fake as well and wound up giving up a foul.
Now, Cada does struggle from the free throw line, so Emmanuel is going to make him earn them. 12 of 18 this year for the redshirt senior. Former Nebraska Cornhusker. Looked pretty good in that one. WKU third in Conference USA in free throw percentage as a squad, 73%. They're averaging 77 points per game. Similar to Middle Tennessee from Thursday as far as that goes. Strong defense, the Aggies, versus a strong offense, WKU. Edelin picks up Zaudy Jackson. Jackson, Cook, Emmanuel Shimanga, Filipovic, and Harris on the floor. Jackson swings it for Cook. Hasn't attempted a shot yet today. Mid-post for Shimanga, the 6'11 Cada defense. And Emmanuel gets bailed out. I think he was going to look for a sky hook in the lane right there, Russ. That was his maneuver going towards that CUSA logo.
Well, and maybe the jump hook. You don't think the old-fashioned...
I don't know, maybe. Let's see here. Sky hook coming up, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Who knows? We'll never know. If he was allowed to take an extra step there, he was going to be put in a tough spot. Jackson will enter for Shimanga. Harris passes up the 3, pull-up jumper, good for Jaden Harris.
Yeah, Jaden Harris always had a good medium-range game. He can pull up after a dribble or two.
Aggie offense starting to find their groove again, ahead by 6. Hilltoppers haven't made a field goal in over 3 minutes. Another bad miss by Edelin, way off twice so far today. Harris, Cook, his 3, too strong. Filipovic had pretty good positioning, battling with Edelin. Jackson launches, he's way off, crashing is Harris. Another chance, a third chance opportunity here. Jackson surges in the key, kick out. Filipovic, a wing triple. Jackson tracks it down. He zigzags. Harris for 3. Filipovic, the offensive rebound. Hilltoppers can't find a loose ball right now. This could be huge. Jackson in the key. He's stripped, and it's grabbed by Bayless. Edelin running the floor, going after the 7-footer. Shot no good. Good verticality by Emmanuel Shimanga.
And that rule has changed over the years, Adam. At one time, that would have been, in my era, that would have been a foul.
Yep.
Edelin would be shooting 2 free throws.
Excellent defense here for WKU. Making the Aggies work for it. Penetration by Jackson. Seemed like Cada brought his arms down. No call. Pinballs around and grabbed by Blaze Cada. And the big man double dribble. That is not what Hank Plona, the first-year head coach for the Hilltoppers, wants to see, is 6'11 Blaze Cada on the open floor, putting the ball on the deck. Just grab the ball, jump stop, and look for a guard, right?
Well, that's right. And now we'll get a chance to see Gabe Pickens, freshman guard, in the game here.
First turnover for WKU. They only average 11 turnovers per game. The Aggies also only averaging 11 per game. Pickens running the point. The Aggies run Cook off a screen. Bayless picks him up. Media timeout, next dead ball. The Aggies ahead by 6, trying to extend their advantage. Bostic on the catch. Spin move, fade away, contested jumper way short, and it's batted out of bounds by Emmanuel Shimanga. Aggies have missed 11 of their previous 13 shots from the field. They're still shooting 45%, but they started today 7 of 7. Since then, they are 2 out of 13. Their lead is 6. Hilltoppers basketball when we come back. 4th place Aggies looking for a pivotal home win here on Senior Day. Aggie men's basketball having an alumni weekend. Sean Harrington got in town on Thursday. A number of former players are here, Russ, including Mr. Coulter as well, right?
Steve Coulter, who played about 8 years in the NBA. Slab Jones, of course, lives in town, but it's Gerald Wright, Elston Jones, Gil Williams from Albuquerque, Lindsey McElmel, who was about 10 points a game. I'm forgetting somebody, sorry.
Trey Stewart's over there as well.
Oh, yeah. But a lot of guys from when I first came to El Paso, the guys from the early 80s, that many of them played for Weldon Drew.
Taking a look at the Aggie recaps so far, season-wise. Christian Cook, 13 a game to pace the Aggies, coming off 24 Thursday. The home record 8-6, the road record really good, 7-5. The Aggies have lost 5 of the previous 6 at home. They're 5-2 on the road in conference play. Meanwhile, for the Hilltoppers, looking for their 17th win, trying to move to 500 in league play. They're averaging 77 points per game. Got some nice non-conference wins against Lipscomb and Marshall. And they are looking for their 8th league win here today. Hilltoppers haven't made a field goal in 5 minutes. Aggie lead is 6, WKU with the basketball. Hilltoppers going with Bayless, Lander, Odiahi, Marshall, and Jackson on the floor in the red. Playing their road finale today. Emmanuel Shimanga just rips it away from Leroy Odiahi. Emmanuel's playing well. The flip to Cook, checked by Bayless on defense. Pickens running the point. Jackson on the bench right now for New Mexico State. Pickens still with it. The bounce on the curl for Cook. Straight arm jumper, short. Cook 0 of 2 from the field. He's scoreless. Lander in transition. He lost it. Bostic pushes. No numbers. Cook's open on the wing. The Aggies don't find him, though. Shimanga to Shimanga. Nate on the finish. The helper from Emmanuel.
Well, they actually played pretty well together. And, up until fairly recently, it was one or the other that was in the game. Uh-oh, Emmanuel's got a shoe untied.
Rush, you see some driveway stuff sometimes with the Shimanga brothers. I'm sure they played a lot of games in their driveway growing up.
Yeah, that wasn't the first time they passed to each other for a basket, I bet.
Combination works for a while there. The Shimanga brothers never played together on the floor, but right now they play together on the same time on the floor. Emmanuel the rebound. Cook in transition. Lowers his head on Jackson. Fadeaway jumper. No good. Emmanuel Shimanga bats it out to Bostic. Cook, NBA range 3. Oh, yeah. Timeout, Hank Plona.
Well, a nice decision by Deontay Bostic. Perfect pass. He had the 3, but Christian Cook, slightly better three-point shooter, and nice pass by Deontay Bostic.
Russ, who kept that possession alive? It was Emmanuel Shimanga.
It was one of the Shimangas, anyway.
Russ, they've done a really good job of just kind of batting the ball out. If they can't grab it, they're going to try to bat it out to the arc and keep the possession alive as we get a replay of the Shimanga connection. This play was kept alive by Emmanuel Shimanga, and it results in a Cook made 3, his first points here today.
And it wasn't just the nice pass by Deontay Bostic, but he gave a little head fake, drew the defense out, and one guy had to make a decision on 2 guys.
Russ, one of your keys was rebounding, right? The Aggies are plus 10. They have 6 offensive rebounds, none for WKU.
And they're doing a pretty good job of getting back. I mean, they're at this pace, they'll hold Western Kentucky to 21 or 22 points for the half. So their transition defense has been very good, which is always a trademark of a Jason Hooten team.
Western Kentucky has not been a good rebounding team this year. They are second worst in rebound margin in Conference USA. Meanwhile, rebounding has kind of been a staple for the Aggies again, especially the last couple of weeks. That was a big part of their road sweep last week in Jacksonville and Kennesaw. Hilltoppers haven't scored in over 4 minutes. Here's Tyrone Marshall. He lost it. Aggie ball.
Well, what you just said, Adam, happens all the time with the Jason Hooten coach team. 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, holding the other team without a basket.
We saw a couple of shot clock violations for Middle Tennessee Thursday. It was a really good first half on defense Thursday, and then a struggle in half 2. Carpenter on the catch. Back out for Pickens. Ball reversal to Bostic. Open 3, Gabe Pickens. Short. That's one he has to take.
Yeah, it looked good. I thought that was in.
Pickens has only attempted 25 threes during his freshman year. He's made 7 of them. McHenry lost it going up. Sky and high, Bostic to collect. Under 5 left, the Aggies with their biggest lead. Bostic to the rim, and he got wrapped up by McHenry. First foul on Don McHenry, and Deontay Bostic, one of those seniors on senior day, will shoot a pair.
Well, this is where Deontay Bostic is at his best, is going at the basket, often challenging bigger guys. But he's just struggled in the last month, and I can't put my finger on it. It's just one of those things. It's not for lack of effort.
Russ, remember how good he was around the rim, going to the hoop in the pit in early December? I mean, that was his best game of the year. Scored 17. Kind of had his way offensively on the dribble drive against a really good UNM defense.
And a bigger defense as well. So
yeah.
he's usually fearless about challenging the big guys going to the basket. But for whatever reason, he's just a little bit out of sync.
Bostic went scoreless Thursday for the first time all season. Played 16 minutes, and he misses both free throws. Still scoreless today. That free throw line has been a hamper his entire career. McHenry, a floater. No good. Scoreless drought continues. Carpenter pulls in the rebound. Hilltoppers haven't scored in 5.5 minutes. Bostic lost it, grabbed it, got it back, then he got bumped. His only team foul, number 5, on WKU. Yeah, you can tell right now, Bostic is searching for it offensively. And he can still impact the game on defense. Jason Hooten talked earlier this week about the plus-minus last week for Bostic. He wasn't scoring much, but his plus-minus was really good. The Aggies were playing well when he was on the floor because he was rebounding, distributing, and defending. He doesn't have to score, but if he can add some scoring, that could help the offense for sure.
Yeah, he's usually the best rebounder of the guards.
Bostic from the wing for 3. Missed it short. Jackson collects. Hilltoppers shooting 29% from the field. Pull up for Jackson. Pinball's off, and Carpenter gets another rebound. That is Carpenter's third already. Bostic back to the arc. Carpenter straight on. Way off. These are good looks.
Yeah, nice pass by Deontay Bostic.
Marshall attacks on Filipovic. Pickens grabs the rebound on the strong side.
Well, Pickens went up as if he was going to block that and really distracted the shooter. It was a risky move by Gabe Pickens, but it turned out to be a smart gamble.
Hilltoppers haven't scored in over 6 minutes. The Aggies haven't scored in over 2 minutes here. Not really taking advantage of this extended drought. The lead is only 11. Filipovic looking for a cutter. Now he's isolated with a smaller defender, Jackson. Pickens sends it in the corner. Carpenter buries the 3 in front of the Hilltopper bench.
And I keep saying this about Gabe Pickens. I think he's got huge potential. That was an excellent pass by Gabe Pickens. And nobody's happier than me when Robert Carpenter bangs one in from 3. The Aggies really need him to be an offensive threat.
It's been almost 10 minutes without a Hilltopper made field goal. That'll snap it as Marshall knocks down the 3. The scoreless drought was 7 minutes, but it was free throws, so the first made field goal in almost 10 minutes for WKU. They're probably fortunate to only be trailing by 11 right now. They really struggled in half 2 Thursday against UTEP. Built a 25-point lead in half 1 and struggled in half 2. Filipovic is fouled going up. And the young man out of Hungary, one of those players who will be honored for senior day post-game. He'll shoot a pair of free throws when we come back. The Shimanga brothers playing well. 4 points for Nate. Emmanuel, 2 points, 4 rebounds. Lead is 11 for the Aggies here on senior day. Adam Young and Russ Bradburn back with you. Aggies lead 29-18. Final 2:31 coming up in half 1. 10 points, 4 rebounds for Peter Filipovic. Pretty good balance on offense again. The Aggies shooting 43% for the field, holding the Hilltoppers to just 30%, but WKU is shooting pretty well from 3, 4 of 11. A look at the Conference USA scoreboard. It was a thriller earlier today in Miami. Jacksonville State survives 84-79, double overtime against FIU. La Tech at the half leading Sam Houston, and in overtime at the Haskins Center, UTEP Russ has now lost 5 in a row as Middle Tennessee goes 2-0 during this West Coast road swing.
Tough one, overtime in El Paso. Kevin Kalu with 26 points and 9 rebounds. It's not enough for them. I feel for him because we have great respect for Joe Golding. It's a tough loss for the Miners.
There is one game tomorrow. Kennesaw State at Liberty. First place Liberty tomorrow, our national TV on a Sunday. Liberty has now won 6 in a row, and they control their own destiny down the stretch. In Conference USA, they're currently in first. Filipovic is 1 out of 2. Lead is a dozen. Bayless, good catch by Lander. Marshall, Jackson, and Jalen Dorsey also on the floor for WKU. Driving a kick to Bayless. Lost it. Osborne the steal. Has Filipovic to his left. He's going to attack. Osborne missed it strong. What a rebound by Carpenter. What a rebound by Carpenter. Jump ball, possession to WKU. Russ, that may have been one of the very best rebounds we've seen in Carpenter's career. Look at this.
Wow. And that was
talk about going up with force.
And that was the exact right call, too, as well. And Jacoby Osborne with great defensive effort to cause that turnover. Couldn't get the fast break layup to go down.
The shots are going to fall for Carpenter. That is what Jason Hooten is asking for. Just crash the glass. Rebound for us. And he's done that this year.
Yes.
About 3 rebounds a game a year ago. 6 rebounds per game this year for Carpenter. A lot of those have been offensive. Marshall launches another 3. This one short. Filipovic, his 5th rebound. A minute 40 left. Filipovic to the rim. Off balance, missed it. Osborne the offensive rebound. Poked away, and they're going to say Osborne touched it last. And Jason Hooten telling Jacoby, just go up with it. The Aggies now have 7 offensive rebounds, 0 for WKU. It's been one shot and done for them. Marshall to the rim, and he's fouled going up. Rush, you're not going to put away WKU at halftime, but if you can stretch this out to 15 or 16, you could really make it tough early on in half 2 for the Hilltoppers.
That's right. The Aggies want them going up to the locker room thinking, well, we won at El Paso. It's not the end of the world if we don't win this one. We want them satisfied to split the road trip. But Hank Plona might have different ideas.
They really struggled in half 2. I mean, they had to survive in El Paso. They led by 25 at one point in the first half. They gave up 50 points in half 2. So it was a 25-point lead. It was 17 at halftime, and they only won by 7. It was a 4-point game a couple of times late in that game 2 nights ago. Their depth is a big issue right now. Without 3 of their top 6 scorers, only 10 players in uniform. So everybody's pretty much playing right now for the Hilltoppers, for the most part in uniform. Corner 3, Carpenter. Made from that spot earlier. What a rebound there, collected by Lander, who's 6'3". Filipovic got a hand on it and then stole it. He just stuck his hand out. Cook transition. Sneaks inside, and Cook is blocked away by Odiahi. Odiahi touched it last, and the Aggies have it. Cook thought he was fouled. Emmanuel Shimanga is coming in. He will come in for Carpenter. Shots just not falling for Carpenter. 1 of 5 from 3. He is now 2 of 18 from 3 in his previous 4 games, including today. But he's rebounding. 3 rebounds for Carpenter. Doing a good job on the offensive glass in particular. Popping out. Jackson, his 3 way off. Filipovic right there. Shows Emmanuel Shimanga, and he gets tied up. Aggies with the arrow.
Well, another offensive rebound for the Aggies.
Russ, are they just beating WKU to loose balls right now?
Yeah, and I think it's, Western Kentucky they're a little tired from the game in El Paso. They're at an altitude they're not used to. And
Henry guarding Filipovic. Fadeaway jumper, good.
And they're shorthanded. And they've got 2 or 3 of their key players out. With Thedford and Enoch is out as well.
Leander, NBA range 3, way off. Emmanuel Shimaga gathers his 6th first half rebound. The Aggies can have the final shot, and Jason Hooten wants to draw something up. So the lead is 12. It can build even more with 18 seconds left. This has been a pretty good first half, and the Aggies made their first 7 shots from the field. They had a stretch where they struggled when the bench came in, but they've been able to kind of withstand that. They've really defended well. They've rebounded well. Things they did not do in the first matchup in Bowling Green.
Yes, and as you say, defended the 3 as well. I wonder if we'll see Jason Hooten go with Robert Carpenter back in for the last shot here, but I don't see anyone subbing in at this point.
You're going to work through Filipovic to start, right? Let him facilitate and make a decision.
Yeah, but it does seem with the clock winding down that Zoddy Jackson seems to take over quite a bit. I wonder if he'll isolate Filipovic here for the last shot.
Filipovic returned last Thursday, his first game back in the starting 5, though. He had been coming off the bench post-illness, and he looks really good the last couple of games. Conference USA Player of the Week. 13-5 for Filipovic in half 1. Jackson with it, angles off to the wing. The freshman Osborne on the floor. Popping out Filipovic, backdoor. Cook in the key, knocks down the jumper 10 feet away.
Perfect pass by Jacoby Osborne. I wondered what he was doing with that. I didn't think, as we see a near miss, I was wondering what Jacoby Osborne was doing, but he really threaded the needle there. Beautiful pass to Christian Cook.
I think Filipovic was a decoy, Russ.
Well, he certainly had us fooled.
A little pep talk between Jason Hooten and Deontay Bostic right now. I think Jason's telling him, don't worry about your offense. We just need you to guard. Bostic did not score in that first half, and this is a young man who, in his career, has scored well over 1,100 career points. Filipovic with 13. Christian Cook with a handful. Jackson a handful. Maybe the best half we've seen from Emmanuel Shimaga this year as well. Lead is 14. Halftime comes your way next. You're watching Conference USA men's basketball on ESPN+. 2 teams separated by only 1 game in the Conference USA standings. This is a big one. The Aggies trying to go to 9-7 in league play, while the Hilltoppers trying to tie the Aggies in the conference standings and go to 8-8 in the league. First half stats presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of New Mexico. Russ, does it just come down to rebounding right now for New Mexico State?
Well, if only it were that simple. I mean, the Aggies have dominated the boards. It's hard to imagine Western Kentucky with 0 offensive rebounds. I think they're just dead-legged and tired from the trip. But the Aggies, they executed so well early. They're going to have to keep the ball moving, go inside first, and see what opens up. See what opens up on the perimeter game for them. It's just going to be a matter of the timing of offense and taking good shots and making shots again.
26% from the field for WKU. They shot almost 60% in the first matchup in Bowling Green, 58% that day. The 7 turnovers, that number is high as well for the Hilltoppers. They only average 11 turnovers per game. New Senda Credit Union is a proud supporter of the Aggies. You can visit them today at their Pan Am branch for all of your financial needs. And you can find them online at newsenda.org. If the Aggies come out in half 2 the way they came out in half 1, Russ, where they made their first 7 shots for the field, they could essentially put this away early on in half 2, correct?
Well, I'm not going to say that on the air. Jason Hooten would kill me. As we talk about all the time, if they can come out strong in the first 5 minutes, they could make a real statement, and maybe Western Kentucky would just feel like, well, look, we've got our win in El Paso. That's enough. If you split on a road trip, you've usually done okay. Not everyone's as successful as Hooten is on the road, but I don't think sometimes I've seen this happen, Adam, where a team sort of gets their legs at halftime and realizes, hey, we can do this. So it'll be interesting to see.
With the win, the Aggies would stay on the 4-seed line for the conference tournament with 2 left to play. With the loss, New Mexico State could drop all the way down to the 8-seed line when this weekend is done. There is a lot of teams bunched up in the middle of the pack right now in the Conference USA standings. And like we talked about earlier, FIU is starting to figure some things out at the bottom. They almost beat Jacksonville State today. Sam Houston's played really well the last couple of weeks. You want to avoid the 7 through 10 seeds, because if you're a 7 through 10 seed, you have to play day 1 on Tuesday, not next Tuesday, but the following Tuesday in Huntsville. If you're a 4, 5, or 6, well, if you're a 1 through 6, let's put it that way, then you don't have to play day 1. If you are a 3, 4, 5, or 6, you play on Thursday. So you don't have to go until Tuesday or Wednesday, essentially. And right now, New Mexico State in that 4 spot. They wouldn't have to play until Thursday. Then you have to win 3 games in 3 days as opposed to having to win 4 times in Huntsville, which is a tall task for anybody.
That's right. And let's not forget, it was Western Kentucky that surprised everyone and came through and made the NCAA tournament last year. And it wouldn't be impossible if they could. I wonder if they can get everybody healthy. Would they get some of these guys healthy by then, Adam?
I don't think so, Russ. I think this is what they're going to have to work with here in a couple of weeks. Hilltoppers made their first NCAA tournament appearance since 2013, a year ago. They played Marquette in the NCAA tournament. Kick out, Braxton Bayless rims off the 3. Pulled in by Nate Shimanga. Hilltoppers coach left. Steve Lutz was only in Bowling Green for a year. He went to Oklahoma State. So Hank Plona, who was an assistant under Steve Lutz, took over. Filipovic had 2 defenders around him. Foul is called on the Hilltoppers. Russ, Hank Plona, a very successful JUCO head coach. He was at Indian Hills for 8 years in Iowa as their head coach, and he was about as successful as anybody can be at one level.
That's right, and he had, Aggie fans will remember his great post player, Ivan Orocochea, the Spanish player who did so well for the Aggies.
Cook's 3 is good. Christian Cook, his second made 3. He has 8. A lot of the current players for WKU played for Hank Plona at one point at Indian Hills, including McHenry, who has the ball. Exchanges for Odiahi, who played at Indian Hills as well. There's Tyrone Marshall. Jackson to Bayless, who also played at Indian Hills. Jackson's shot is good. Jalen Jackson has 5. He made the first points of the game for WKU today.
And now he starts off the half for them.
Jackson played for Steve Lutz at Texas A&M Corpus Christi before coming to WKU. Cook, wide left, offensive rebound, Emmanuel Shimanga. That's number 7. Wow.
Yeah, and I think it's just, poor Hank Polona's team, they're undermanned with the 3 injuries, and the road trip is tough. They're coming out, they're exhausted from the win in El Paso the other night. They just do not have the bounce in their step yet. Now that can change. There's still plenty of time left.
Size is pretty good for WKU. 2 6'11" post players. It hasn't mattered today, though. Filipovic, rainbow jumper on the fadeaway.
He's a little like Dirk Nowitzki sometimes, isn't he?
Yeah, it's a good comparison.
Now, last time I compared Jacoby Osborne to Michael Cooper, and his man got an open 3. So I've got to be careful on exaggerating the comparisons.
Bayless swings it for Marshall. He knocks down a 3. His third made 3. He made 4 threes in the first matchup. Marshall only averages 10.5 points per game, but he is more than capable of scoring 20 plus. He's in double figures now with 11. Post touch, Emmanuel Shimanga. Jump hook, slips in for Emmanuel. He has 4.
I was a little surprised that Emmanuel, his jersey was being held, although he didn't move at all. I think sometimes you got to move if you're going to have a holding call.
Marshall fires it for Kada. 2 Shimangas there, and he throws it away. Intercepted, Filipovic. Spins away from Bayless. Filipovic still with it. Throws it out for Emmanuel Shimanga. Jackson back to Emmanuel. Steps in, got tripped up, stayed on his feet, and he banked it in. Timeout, Hank Plona.
Wow, great balance by Emmanuel Shimanga. It's tough to keep your balance when you're 7 foot. He stumbled a little bit there and still was able to knock it in.
Emmanuel Chimanga, 7-foot grad transfer out of Montreal, Quebec, Canada, saving his best for last at home potentially. 6 points, 7 rebounds early on in half two. Look at this balance. That's a 7-footer. Aggies lead by 18. Similar start offensively as half one for New Mexico State. They made their first 7 shots from the field tonight to start the game. They are 4 of 5 from the field in half two. The Chimanga brothers, a big part of it. Good balance on offense, paced by Filipovic with 15. And right now, New Mexico State has their biggest lead today, 43-25 the score. Russ, Thursday was tough. New Mexico State led by 7 with 7 minutes left, could not finish. But you go back to the last couple of weeks, this could be 4 wins in the previous 5 games. They're really trending up late February, early March now.
Yeah, there's a sense of regret for me personally, Adam, in that, I just think if Filipovic hadn't have got sick, things could have been very different.
Yeah. And I think if you replay that UTEP game, who knows what happens, because Filipovic played that night and was severely sick, played I think 20 minutes that night, didn't do much. Foul called on Emmanuel Chimanga.
And I always hope Jason Hooten has the sound turned down when I don't want to make excuses for him, but it just, to lose Filipovic, he's maybe the one guy the Aggies cannot lose.
Corner 3, Marshall. He's the one guy that's really been good offensively today for WKU. 14 of the 28 for the Hilltoppers coming from one player, Tyrone Marshall Jr. He's having to do way more with all those players out. 3 of the top 6 scorers out for WKU. Short corner for Emmanuel Chimanga. Was looking for a cutter. Going to back down the defender. Gets stripped away, and then Nate Chimanga pulls it in. 1 on the timer. Jackson connects from 3.
Well, smart move by Nate Chimanga. He's a good passer. Both the Chimanga brothers are pretty good passers.
Odiahi back on the arc for Christian Lander, who's coming off the bench again today. He's been dealing with a back injury. Marshall, step back 3. Filipovic, rebound number 6. It's not just the scoring, Russ, with Filipovic. He rebounds, he defends, everything runs through him, so your offense completely changed when he was out.
Well, obviously he can bring the ball up the court, as we just saw him do.
Working on Lander. This is the turnaround jumper. Pulled in by Odiahi. Aggies had made 4 straight shots from the field before that miss. Marshall, teardrop. Filipovic, another board, his 7th. Media timeout coming up. Zardy Jackson maneuvers around the Chimanga ball screen, pulls up, foul line jumper, no good. Jack Edelin grabs the rebound. He's back in for WKU. Lander, corner 3. Christian Lander makes his 2nd 3 tonight, his 43rd of the year.
Well, Adam, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but the Aggies have run out of gas a few times this year, and I hope they're not getting complacent thinking, well, Western Kentucky's just going to die and we've got this one sealed up.
Filipovic, Jackson, the Chimanga brothers, and Cook on the floor. And Filipovic was held by Jalen Jackson. Foul number 3 on the Hilltoppers in half number 2. New Mexico State looking for their 4th win in their previous 5 games, trying to reach 16 wins overall and 9 wins in conference play. It's been a struggle this year at home. The Aggies trying to finish their home slate on a high note. Hilltoppers have connected on 7 threes. They're not going away. It's a 15-point Aggie lead in half 2. Hilltoppers, 3 of 5 from 3 in half 2. They only attempted 1 3-pointer in the second half Thursday in their win against UTEP, and right now they're making their threes in half 2. Trying to stay in it, trailing by 15 on the road. Westar Bank is a proud supporter of the Aggies. You can find them online at westarbank.com. Aggies dominant, points in the paint, 18-4. The front court play, big advantage for New Mexico State right now. But if Marshall gets hot, McHenry gets hot, Lander gets hot, WKU can certainly shoot their way back into this, Russ.
Yes, and you don't make the NCAA tournament a year ago without those guys. And again, the Aggies have struggled down the stretch a little bit, just run out of gas a few times this year.
Deontay Bostic now in, so is Robert Carpenter and Gabe Pickens for the Aggies. Bostic will get to the free throw line. I wonder exactly what Jason Hooten was saying to Deontay before halftime. He was talking to Deontay before everybody went up in the locker room. Maybe try to be more aggressive, look for your shot when you get in the paint like this, because he was a little more aggressive right there, Russ.
Yes, and that play was clearly designed for Bostic. So I think Jason Hooten's trying to get him going here.
First point of the week for Deontay. Held scoreless Thursday for the first time all year. A young man who started his collegiate career and played a lot at Murray State, a really good mid-major program. Went to CSUN, where he was 15 a game a year ago. Only 7 a game this year. He's had a different role than what he had a year ago. He was the main guy at CSUN. Here, he's more of a role player. And the Aggies would love just a little bit of offense down the stretch.
Yeah, I don't think that the Aggies are intending for him to be a role player. I think they were hoping that he would be one of their main guys. And that could still happen.
Sidestep three is way off for McHenry. Cook, the rebound. Western Kentucky, one and done. They still do not have an offensive rebound. New Mexico State has snatched 9 offensive rebounds, 0 for WKU. Rolling Nate Shamanga glides to the rim, misses. Bostic trying to grab it. We get a held ball. The Aggies have the possession area. It is effortless athleticism for Nate Shamanga, just gliding to the rim, just couldn't quite finish. Cook lobs it in for Bostic, back to Christian Cook. Cook, step back out of the corner. Nate Shamanga trying to grab it, and it's pulled in by Jalen Jackson. No numbers, he'll speed down the floor anyway, and he's fouled going up by Bostic.
Well, and that's the first fast break basket the Aggies have given up that I remember. Was there another one? I think that might have been the first fast break basket.
There was a play and a key juncture Thursday when Issa Mustafa, the big man for Middle Tennessee, beat everybody down the floor at 6'10".
Well, that's what I mean about the Aggies maybe being a little bit, seeming a little gassed at the end of that game, because as great, Mustafa's a tremendous player. He had 16 points and 16 rebounds in El Paso today, but he's not a runner.
Been a pretty good day offensively for Jalen Jackson. He now has 6. He only averages 3 a game. He was a scorer a couple of years ago at Texas A&M Corpus Christi, where he played for former Hilltopper head coach Steve Lutz. He was the Southland Tournament MVP in 2023. Scored 22 in the NCAA tournament that season in that play-in game, the first round game against SEMO, which was a win for Texas A&M Corpus Christi. SEMO, Southeast Missouri State, won the Ohio Valley Conference regular season on Thursday night. Spinning is Filipovic, slings it out for Pickens. Back to Peter. Hard move to the rim, falling down, had to throw it up. Grabbed by Odiahi. Good catch by Lander. Push out, Marshall, step in 3. Almost an offensive rebound for the Hilltoppers. Couldn't quite grab it. Filipovic squirts out to Pickens. The Aggies numbers if they hurry. Bostic to the rim. He's going up, and he got blocked by Odiahi. Last touch by Bostic. Wow. Well, Odiahi certainly had his hands coming down. I assume he got all ball on that one. Let's see here. Wow. There was a lot of arm.
Yeah.
There was a lot of arm.
Seemed like there was from that angle. We don't want to pick on the Irish guys, though.
I think Odiahi initially got ball and then came down on Bostic's arm. It was the right idea by Deontay. Just go right after the big fella. Lander pitches it out to McHenry. Osborne defends. McHenry only has 5 points. 15-foot floater for Don McHenry.
Boy, he looked very good there, didn't he? Sort of a teardrop off 1 foot.
Started his collegiate career at Division II Hawaii Hilo. Then he went to Indian Hills where he played for Hank Plona. He was a first-team JUCO All-American there. Carpenter fouled going up. That might have been a makeup call. I don't think Carpenter got fouled on that one, but the Aggies will take it, and Carpenter will get free throws.
Yeah, pretty smooth move by McHenry, the Milwaukee kid.
Carpenter, 71% free throw shooter, grad student from Detroit, playing his final home game today. He's been in single digits in 6 of the previous 7. Makes 1 of 2. Gives him 4 points for the game. Need a 3-pointer and half one. Breaks a scoreless drought of 2 minutes, 10 seconds. Lead is still 15 though. McHenry spinning, that floater short. Excellent defense by the freshman Osborne.
Yeah, he's a really smart defender.
Bostic to the rim again, trying to stuff in that one. Comes down hard on his back. And Bostic will get free throws.
He bounced.
I think he's been a little bit more aggressive in this half. That was impressive. So 2 free throws coming up for the Clearwater, Florida native. Aggies 2 of 3 in the half from 3. Zodie Jackson has one of those. The Aggies lead by 15. Bostic free throws on the other side. Home finale here at the Pan American Center. Adam Young, Russ Bradford with you. 11:49 left here in half number 2 as Hank Plona and WKU playing from behind today, trying to get the road sweep this week. Beat UTEP by 7 down the road on Thursday. The Aggies looking for a home split. Upcoming schedule for the Aggies: La Tech on Thursday in Ruston, then at Sam Houston next weekend. And then the Conference USA Tournament. Louisiana Tech currently leading Sam Houston by 20 in Huntsville. Meanwhile, for the Hilltoppers, they're going to head back to Bowling Green and play FIU in Liberty next week and then head to the Conference USA Tournament as well. You know, Russ, I was thinking about this. The Aggies will close at Sam Houston next weekend, and this is not by design scheduling at all, but it's going to be cool because Jason Hooten can be at Senior Day for some of those players that he recruited. For Sam Houston. Lamar Wilkerson, Cameron Hufner, probably those 2 guys most notably. It's going to be a cool twist for Jason next weekend.
Yeah, I'll bet it's a classy group, the Sam Houston, the whole program, and it won't shock me if they drag Jason Hooten out to half court for that one.
I know he went back to graduation for some of his guys a year ago. We should note this as well, and this hasn't been out there publicly much, but the academic success the last 2 years under Jason has been unbelievable. The best the program's ever been academically. I mean, it's off the charts. So I want to note that as well. 51-34. Christian Lander on the dribble. Guarded by Osborne on the switch. Now Pickens picks up McHenry. Every catch is difficult. Bayless, Lander, 10 to shoot. Lander to the rim. Osborne bumped him at the very last moment.
Yeah, just a great series by the Aggies, and we'll have to look at it again, but Osborne bailed him. Kobe Osborne, who's been a terrific defender for freshmen, might have bailed him out there. Two
free throws for an 80% free throw shooter, Christian Lander, who's been battling a back injury recently. Out of Evansville, Indiana, former high school top 30 recruit. His father played football for the Hilltoppers under Jack Harbaugh. Of course, the father of Jim and John Harbaugh, the NFL head coaches, and Jack was a very successful head coach in football at WKU. Pickens, Carpenter, Osborne, Bostic, and Filipovic on the floor on offense. Pickens to a streaking Osborne. He traveled twice, I think. He traveled when he caught it as well.
Yeah, they only called one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cook coming in for Jacoby. Only one player in double figures on both sides right now. 15 for Filipovic for the Aggies, 14 for Marshall for WKU. Leander driving the pitch out to Bayless, who's been held in check today. He's been really playing well. Bayless hasn't scored yet. He'll try to get points at the free throw line. He's averaging 20.5 points per game in his previous 2 coming in. Had a game-winning layup last weekend against La Tech. But he's done nothing offensively today. Grad transfer from Niagara. Played for Hank Plona at Indian Hills a couple years ago. Only a 61% free throw shooter. He's been all over the country. He's out of Ankeny, Iowa. That's his hometown. Went to JUCO in Iowa at Indian Hills and then went to Niagara. Now he's in Bowling Green, Kentucky. First point of the night for Braxton Bayless. 51-37. The Aggies leaving the door slightly cracked right now for the Hilltoppers, almost midway through half 2. Pickens still on the bounce. Carpenter the ball screen. Carpenter posting up the defender. Pickens will send it to him. Sloppy possession so far. Now Filipovic on the catch. Backdoor, Carpenter was wide open. Good find by Filipovic. I think he thought Carpenter was more wide open than Carpenter thought he was.
That's right. I was going to say Carpenter, I think, surprised himself by being so open.
Filipovic reads the defense so well. Leander, contested 3. Pinballs off. Filipovic approaching a double-double. 1 rebound shot. Pickens will initiate the offense, gets the play call from his bench. Ball screen, Carpenter. Pickens, mid-post, Carpenter. Fall-away jumper, that's a tough shot.
You know, it's constantly Gabe Pickens making the right pass time after time.
He could have shot that there, but he passed it up.
I was going to say, that would have been a perfectly good shot for him to take.
Filipovic sagging off on Jackson, who's only attempted 11 threes this year, but he attacks and scores anyway. McHenry defending Pickens. 8 points for Cook in the game. He's only attempted 9 shots today. Carpenter the finger roll. Timeout, Hank Plona again.
And another perfect feed from Gabe Pickens.
Carpenter finding his offense inside the arc. Maybe he was relying too much on the 3 ball. Right now he's scoring inside the arc, around the rim, a couple of buckets around the rim. That fadeaway mid-range jumper. So 6 for Carpenter during this current stretch.
Yeah, and it seems like that's by design. He's going at the basket more. Notice on the play before that, there was a switch, and Carpenter had a bigger guy on him, but he went and posted up anyway on the previous play. But again, I'm impressed by Gabe Pickens, how he's able to make good decisions coming down the floor each time.
Russ, the roll and the slip on those ball screens for Carpenter, he should be able to get looks out of that because everybody wants to avoid the pick and pop with Carpenter. He's been so dangerous in his career, popping out on those ball screens to shoot the 3. If he rolls and slips, I know it's not going to be there every time, but he might get some buckets out of that.
No, but I think you're probably right. Is that he's relied too much on this stepping back and shooting the 3, and the 3 hasn't always been there for him this year. He's only shooting about 30% from the 3. A guy who a year ago there were times when he'd make 3 or 4 threes in a row to bust the game open for the Aggies.
He may be the best athlete on this team, and that's saying something. Osborne, great athlete. There's a bunch of guys. Nate Shimanga, great athlete. Carpenter may be the best of them, and he's starting to score around the rim a little bit. Leander, blocked by Carpenter.
Yes, I was going to say he's certainly the quickest jumper, and there it was.
Corner 3, Harris. Long rebound, Jackson. Touch pass, Cook. Missed it short. Nate Shimanga battling for it. Harris whips it out for Jackson. And Jason Hooten says reset. 11 offensive rebounds, 0 for WKU.
Wow.
Carpenter, fadeaway jumper, blocked by Marshall, grabbed by Lander. Push ahead Bayless, fumbled initially, blocked by Carpenter, grabbed by Zardy Jackson. 5-on-3 if the Aggies hurry. Carpenter, no good. Nate Chimanga was hammered down low. He was shoved in his back.
Well, Carpenter with a couple great blocks. He couldn't get the three to go down.
Not a bad foul by WKU, though, because this is 1-and-1 coming up for a young man, Nate Chimanga, who has struggled mightily from the free throw line. That was foul number 7 on the Toppers. Nate Chimanga, 6 of 29 at the stripe. Wow. Throw the numbers out the window, Russ. Who cares about stats?
That was perfect. That hardly moved the net.
I can confidently say Nate Chimanga has not gone 2 of 2 from the stripe in a trip this year, and he knocks down both. Lead is 20. Danger zone for the Hilltoppers as we approach the under 8 media. Jack Edelin's been way off on his 2 3-point tries today. Marshall bullies his way down low. Still 0 offensive rebounds for the Hilltoppers.
And Nate did a good job defensively and then came back to rebound that one.
The Aggies are plus 21 on the glass. That was the key stat in their 2 wins on the road last week in Jacksonville and Kennesaw. They were a combined plus 22 in those 2 games last week. They were minus 2 Thursday against Middle Tennessee. Jackson snakes around the defense. 4 to shoot. Pull-up jumper, Jaden Harris. Tipped out, and it's going to be Hilltopper basketball. It seemed like Odiahi touched it. The Aggies never went after it because they thought it was going to be their ball. Takes us to the under 8 media timeout. It's been a good night for New Mexico State trying to get back on track and win their 4th in their previous 5 games. They lead by 20 on top of Lou Henson Court. Huge game tonight between New Mexico State and Western Kentucky for seeding implications in the upcoming Conference USA tournament. Only 1 week left in the regular season. The Aggies go on the road next week at La Tech in Ruston and in Huntsville against Sam Houston. Final check of the Conference USA scoreboard today. Couple of overtime games. Double overtime. Jack State edges FIU in overtime in El Paso. UTEP loses for a 5th consecutive game. And La Tech hammers Sam Houston in Huntsville by 24. Don't let La Tech get hot, Russ, because they were the preseason pick to win the conference. They're not really dealing with injuries. They've just kind of not risen up to expectations in conference play, but they have 2 of the best players in the conference with Newman, the point guard, and the postman, Daniel Baccio, the preseason player of the year.
Yeah, I'm not counting Louisiana Tech out. I mean, a year ago, we didn't think Western Kentucky was going to run through the league tournament, and they did. They did not win the regular season, but were terrific in the tournament, so anything can happen.
I really think it's going to come down to matchups and avoiding that Tuesday first-round day, because winning 4 games in the tournament is going to be really tough. So if you can play Wednesday or Thursday and avoid day 1 and just get straight to the quarterfinals, you have a much better shot. Lander misses, snatched in by Nate Chimanga, his 4th rebound. And I also think, too, Russ, it's a better advantage to play Thursday instead of Wednesday. I don't think that off day on Thursday for a team is great.
Yeah, that's right.
I think if you can go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, that gives you the best chance. And right now the Aggies in position for one of those seeds to do that. Under 10 to shoot. Jackson, a step back 3. Rattles off. Harris gliding high in the air, trying to tip it out. Couldn't do so. The flip to Lander. Straight on 3. Hilltoppers looking for that first offensive rebound. They will not get it. Dorsey could have gone after it. I think he's surprised why it's not Hilltopper ball. It was off the miss. Nobody touched it for New Mexico State on the rebound. Russ, what do you want to see in the final 6:20 from New Mexico State here? As Nate Chimanga gets called for an illegal screen.
Well, we don't want to see that. I mean, I think the Aggies need to run clock each time down the floor, move the ball, and an offensive rebound might mean rather than. Well, this is the last thing, the absolute last thing you want your big guy to do is to get a foul 70 feet from the basket. But I think if there is an offensive rebound, the Aggies have been pounding the offensive boards. It might not mean a putback. It might mean throw the ball back out and run some more clock.
Hilltoppers haven't scored in 3.5 minutes. Marshall's had a good half. Working on Nate Chimanga. Lander has to heave a three. Missed it short. Harris couldn't quite grab it. And it's going to be Hilltopper ball on the end line.
Not all bad for Jaden Harris. You have to be careful about saving the ball under your own basket.
This is a statistical difference you don't see very often. 0 offensive rebounds for WKU, a dozen for New Mexico State. Aggies plus 21 overall in rebounding. Jack Edelin back on the arc. Marshall. Three-point struggles continue for the Hilltoppers, and a foul is called on Dorsey on the rebound. Russ, this is a clinic on boxing out and not giving an opponent a second chance opportunity.
I don't know if I've ever been involved in a basketball game at any level where the opponent didn't get an offensive rebound. And I just think it has to do with Western Kentucky's tired, they're shorthanded. Maybe they're fortunate to win in El Paso. That's a great place to win. And they just do not have the energy today.
1-1 for Deontay Bostic. That was foul number 8 on the Toppers. Free throw no good. Nate Chimanga the offensive rebound. 13, and that was deflected. Aggie ball. Russ, does Jason Hooten during practice work on rebounding drills more than other head coaches you've seen in the past?
I wouldn't say so. I think what at the heart of Jason Hooten is he's incredibly stubborn and incredibly strong-willed. And I think a lot of what happens with the, I mean, they're playing with Division II transfers and guys who are on the bench at other schools, and they're still pretty darn good. I think it's surely through his will and his.
There's a shot clock violation. No change in possession. The Aggies did not know it. Turnover.
I think it's often just through the sheer force of his personality. Did I tell you he came over to me during practice yesterday and told me to put my phone away? And you know what I did? I put my phone away. He wants everybody locked in, and it doesn't matter if you're the last player on the team or a washed-up ex-coach like me. We're all going to be locked in.
5.5 left. Lead is 20. Scoreless drought is over. 4 minutes for the Hilltoppers on the road here on their road finale. And Bayless just threw it behind Dorsey. Hilltoppers all out of sync right now. This is an offense that could not miss in half one Thursday in El Paso, and they've been out of sync all day. They've made some shots from 3. They've made 7, but they've attempted 25, and they've committed 10 turnovers now. Up top, Nate Chimanga. Bostic on the exchange. Cook on the curl. Cook, floater, no good, but he'll get free throw.
He looked like he was fouled twice on that one. Nice little curl around the screen for Christian Cook.
Aggies are only shooting 39%. If they don't get it above 40, this would be 3 straight games below 40%. They're 6 of 24 from 3, 9 of 15 from the free throw line. So the shooting number is not great. The rebounding's been exceptional. The defense has been really good again.
ODI, he looks confused by the call. They don't call him like that at the Trellis Sports Complex. He was more likely.
You know that from experience.
That's right.
Foul was on Jalen Jackson. That was his 5th, and depth is an issue for the Hilltoppers. They only have 10 players dressed here today. It's a 2-shot foul for Cook, who buries the first free throw. He had kind of been struggling from the line. 2 of 5 from the free throw line in his previous 3 games coming in. Carpenter had a really good stretch earlier in this half. He comes in for Nate Shimanga. One of two for Christian Cook. The Aggies had their biggest lead today. Hilltoppers haven't scored in 5 minutes. Edelin's floater is short. And Jackson strips. Odiahi, and Jackson is bumped. That's 2 shots the rest of the way for New Mexico State now.
Well, good hustle by Zoddy Jackson to recover that one.
Russ, going back to your coaching days, when did you want to peak? I mean, I know you don't want to peak too early going into the conference tournament. Was this the time of the year when you really wanted to play well, those final couple weeks in the regular season going into the postseason?
Yeah, I think absolutely. Well, in my experience, Adam, the conference tournament is generally 3 games in 3 days. You're going to have to win 3 games in 3 days, and that means it's going to have to be depth and athleticism. A deeper team is, of course, it doesn't do as much good the first game, but in the 3rd game in 3 days, depth and athleticism are hugely important. And the Aggies are fairly deep, and they're fairly athletic. It could happen for them.
The problem is every head coach in this conference feels like it could happen for them this year. That's how wide open this league has been. Might be some blood on the floor. Yep. So they're going to wipe it up near the free throw line. I think it's such a huge advantage to avoid that first day. And then if you're a 1 or 2 seed, you have to play day 2, but then you have an off day Thursday. So you would play Wednesday if you're a top 2 seed, off day Thursday, and then play Friday if you win Wednesday. But last year, if last year's any indication, the teams that had success were the ones that did not play Wednesday, that played Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So we'll see if that holds true again this year.
Yeah, the day off doesn't always do you as much good, but I think the Aggies are deep enough, and they'll have to hit on all cylinders. It won't just be Zoddy Jackson, for example. Gabe Pickens will have to play well 3 games in a row.
Jackson in double figures now with 10. Pickens comes in for Zoddy. If you're an Aggie fan, you have to like the depth. The depth, I think, has gotten better as the season has gone on, with guys like Osborne playing a lot of minutes now. Nate Shimanga playing more than he was playing about a month ago. You might need Carl Scherenfant. Certainly Gabe Pickens as well, as Russ mentioned. Marshall back on the arc for McHenry. He's been really quiet in this half. He has 10 now, but it's been a quiet second half for Don McHenry.
A little zone pressure here, 2-2-1.
Filipovic has to get it across. He does to Deontay Bostic. Fires it for Pickens. And Jason Hooten says, use clock. With the shot clock approaching 10. 4:10 left in the game. It's been all Aggies the entire night. Post touch, Filipovic spinning. Lost it off his leg. Grabbed by Tyrone Marshall. Marshall trying to skip it for Edelin. Finally gets it to him. The flip back to Marshall. He shot a lot of threes today. He's attempted 12 now. He's 4 of 12 from 3.
Well, he's been one of the few bright spots for Hank Pollona's team today. Hank Pollona's, decimated team with a couple of key injuries.
Hilltoppers in danger of falling to 7-9 in the conference, and likely in one of those first day scenarios as far as seeding goes. Bostic inside, double clutches. He left it short. Carpenter tipped it a couple of times, and then it's grabbed by Marshall. The Aggies haven't made a field goal in almost 6 minutes, but they still lead by 20. Good switch by Pickens. Right back to McHenry. 3 minutes left. McHenry stutters and kicks. Corner 3 for Edelin. Offensive rebound. The first of the game coming from Leroy Odiahi. The first offensive rebound of the night for WKU. McHenry back rim no good, and Cook grabs it. No field goals in almost 7 minutes for the Aggies, but it really hasn't mattered. WKU cannot creep into this deficit. It's like the old school 4 corners, Russ, in high school basketball here. Just kind of use some clock, get it under 10. Filipovic inside working on Lander, and he will shoot 2 on the other side. Aggies slowing the game down, trying to milk away the clock and close out a senior day victory for their 9 seniors who will be honored post-game. 3 in double figures now. Filipovic 15, 10 apiece for Carpenter and Jackson. The lead is 20. The final 2:20 of the home season when you come back. Another good day for Peter Filipovic. He has 15 points, 1 rebound shy of a double-double, 9 rebounds for Filipovic. Rebounding the story today for the Aggies. Good defense as well. 62-42 is our score. Adam Young with Russ Bradford. Overall, pretty good balance as well. It's not just been Filipovic today.
What's impressed me, Adam, Aggies have 13 assists. Nobody has more than 2. It's just everyone is sharing the ball. Everyone's moving the ball, and we're clicking on every cylinder offensively. It's been impressive.
Time now for the Whataburger play of the game from today. We've seen some nifty jumpers, changing the alter of the shot from Peter Filipovic. In fact, there was one in the second half that Russ compared to a Dirk Nowitzki shot as he put a little more arch on that one over the taller defender, Blaze Kada. Whataburger play of the game from Peter Filipovic. Russ, his last 2 weeks, he was good before he got sick. I think he's been at his best the last couple of weeks.
Maybe he should get more sick more often. The problem is that there's such a gaping hole in the Aggies' offense when he was out, and it left us scratching our heads. The first game where he was out there, but he didn't do anything. And it just I remember how surprised we were, and then find out he's flat on his back all for the next week.
His first made free throw breaks a scoreless drought of 2:29. 1 out of 2 for Filipovic. He guards Marshall here. Marshall has to swing it for McHenry. McHenry, top of the key to Jack Edelin. 2 minutes left. Aggies lead by 21. Corner 3 for Lander. He put more arch in that one. Filipovic has his double-double. Rebound number 10. Seven double-doubles now this year for Filipovic. Deontay Bostic, who has already attempted 7 free throws, making 4 of them, will shoot 2 more. Russ, it's always cool to win on senior day because then you could potentially get some of the seniors in that don't play much. You can get the seniors a little bit of a farewell tour as they head off and subs come in. One of those seniors who doesn't play much is about to come in, Christopher BQ. We've talked a lot about Christopher on past telecasts. He just works his tail off every day in practice, and he gets the chance to play here on senior day as he replaces Emmanuel Shimanga, who played really well today.
Oh, you should have seen him yesterday at practice. He was eating the Shimanga brothers alive, and Jason Hooten stopped practice and said, you guys have to step up. He's trying to make you better.
And that's the key phrase, make you better. I think he kind of understands that's his role right now, is to play that scout team role and make his teammates better. So Audie Jackson goes off, Pickens comes in. Jackson may have 1 more year of eligibility, by the way. That Diego Pavia JUCO rule could help out Zaudy. Filipovic grabs the miss by Lander.
Another rebound.
11. Filipovic had it poked away and stolen by Edelin. The Aggies still haven't made a field goal in almost 8 minutes. Tyrone Marshall lines up another 3, almost an air ball. Edelin fouled by Osborne. Osborne fell asleep for a second, and Edelin took advantage of it.
That may be the first time I've seen Jacoby Osborne get beat from lack of effort. He just rested for poor guy rested for 1 second, and he knows it. And a 5'8" guy snuck by. I mean, he's a whirlwind of effort, and he's hyped up. So to see him relax for a second there really stood out.
Tyler Olden comes in for Western Kentucky. Carl Sharonfont and Xavier Johnson coming in for New Mexico State. Johnson, number 20 in white. And with Olden coming in, every player in uniform has played today for the Hilltoppers. Only 10 in uniform today. Filipovic goes off. Bostic goes off. So those seniors get a little bit of a send-off. We'll have senior day ceremonies when the game is complete. Pickens fires it. Xavier Johnson, a three. Missed it short. Grabbed by Jalen Dorsey. Dorsey guarded by Sharon Fine. 50 seconds left. Marshall sends it in. He was bumped as well. Hilltoppers will need a heavy dose of Marshall next week to improve their seeding position, and they're going to need him a lot in the conference tournament as well. They are missing some key guys, and Marshall has really stepped up his play, and he's kind of been their only offense at times tonight, Russ.
Yeah, he's been one of the few bright spots.
Edward Namako, a junior, transfer from Georgia State from Nigeria. He comes in for Jacoby Osborne. Not a lot of guys are coming back. 9 players will be honored tonight for New Mexico State. Now, some of those guys could come back because of the JUCO rule that appears to be happening right now, but we'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. It's going to be a long senior day ceremony coming up, and a lot of these guys have gone through multiple senior day ceremonies during their career. 15-second difference, game clock and shot clock. Namako swings it for Sharon Fine. 4 to shoot. Post touch, BQ. Couldn't catch it. Edelin into the forecourt. And Edelin is held. The Aggies led by 14 at halftime. Right now they're +6 at half two. Key stretches in this game, Russ, the start to the game, the first 4 or 5 minutes to the game offensively, and then the start to half two. The Aggies really good offensively early on in both halves today.
Yeah, I was a little surprised but you have to look at Western Kentucky. They're thinned out, and they played so well and played so hard on Thursday night.
Aggies will improve to 16-13. They have now won 4 of their previous 5 games. They are 9-7 in Conference USA. This was a pivotal win. Hilltoppers fall to 16-13. They are 7-9 in the league. So now New Mexico State goes on the road where they've been very successful, 5-2 in conference road games this year. So, I mean, normally you say if you go on the road, you're trying to split. New Mexico State's going on the road next week trying to get 2 games.
That's right, and it's Ruston, Louisiana to start. First of all, not an easy place to get to. It's a hard travel day. And then Huntsville, Texas is not so easy to get to because you fly into Houston, but still another hour on the bus or in the rental cars. So the Aggies will have their work cut out for them for the final road trip.
The Aggies were led again today by Filipovic, 16 points, 11 rebounds, 10 points for Jackson. And the 10 points for Carpenter were big. I think he might have found something today where he was scoring inside the arc, not just from 3. He played really well in half 2.
I think he might have reminded himself that he's much more than a three-point shooter. And there were a few times today, Adam, we talked about it, where his quick leaping ability on block shots and rebounds really stood out for the Aggies.
The Aggies stay in that 4 seed line. They could have dropped down to potentially an 8 with a loss today. So a big win. The Aggies improved to 9-7. This is the updated look at the Conference USA standings. All games today are final. There is one game tomorrow, though. Kennesaw State is at Liberty tomorrow. Liberty has won 6 games in a row. So the Aggies in a good spot right now. But, every game's big. So you look ahead to Thursday, Russ. If Louisiana Tech defeats New Mexico State Thursday, then those 2 teams are tied in the standings. So if you win Thursday, you're in a really good spot. If you get 2 games next week, at the very worst, you're going to be a 4 seed. So you kind of control your own destiny as far as seeding goes. You can very easily be a 4, but you probably have to win at least once, maybe twice next week, which is very doable as the Aggies get ready for the conference tournament.
Well, that's right, and the Aggies have, strangely, the Aggies have been terrific on the road this year in a difficult travel league, and so it won't shock me if the Aggies win 2 more games before the tournament.
Russ, final thought going into next week and a couple weeks away from Huntsville and just where this team can be if we're talking about 2 or 3 weeks from now?
Well, I think the timing is right. The Shamanga brothers have never played better, and they're never. I don't think they'll ever be 35 minutes a game, but they've been very good. And now suddenly the Aggies do have the 4 guys up front deep. Gabe Pickens has shown he's an adequate backup. Jacoby Osborne is an adequate backup. Jaden Harris is very versatile, can score a lot of different ways. And so I'm talking about bench warmers here, it might seem like, but really what I'm talking about is the depth that the Aggies are going to need if they're going to win 3 games in 3 days, and I think they might have it.
Plus 23 rebound margin today for the Aggies on Senior Day. It's always nice to win on Senior Day. That makes the ceremony even better. It's always a little bit of a gamble when you do Senior Day after the game, but on a day like today when you win, it's a good gamble.
That's right, and it's Senior Day for Jack Nixon as well.
It is, yes.
He's finally graduated after 44 years. So yeah, congratulations to Jack Nixon, and they're putting all kinds of they're putting the jerseys for every framed jerseys for every Aggie senior on the court. So it's a very dramatic. Everyone seems to be staying around and hanging around. A lot of family, and as we saw, ex Aggie players in town as well.
The Aggies close out the home schedule with a win on the road next week at La Tech and Sam Houston. And then it's off to Huntsville for the conference tournament. We appreciate our entire crew for a great season. We were led today by our director, Vinny Conway, our producer, Rito Rodriguez, Val Achelus Pastrana, Anthony Casaus on stats, my partner, Russ Bradford. We thank you for joining us all season long. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and also archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. The Aggies defeat the Hilltoppers. Final score 65-47. Adam Young saying so long. Good night from Lou Henson Court.